Greetings everyone, I'm Mr. Rajput and welcome to my channel Comic Rajput, and today I brought the second part of the hidden details in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and in this video I'm gonna show you 36 new details that you guys might have missed during the movie. So get ready to see all of them, and before we starting the video I would like to ask to you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you will be up to date to my videos. And now without wasting any moment, let's begin the video. So let's continue our details. Number 1. So when our universe Peter Parker was being pulled to the Ultimate Universe, there we can see a Peter Parker's camera with his mask, which shows us that Peter Parker is still working for Daily Bugle department. Number 2. When Peter entered into the Ultimate Universe, then he hit the ground so hard that his shoes got removed and the rapid speed caused Peter's pants burn, and therefore when Peter struck to the screen, we see no shoes and pants on him. Number 3. When our Peter gave us his introduction, then the sticker where his name written was so crumbled and dusty as compared to the Ultimate Spider-Man, which indicates the current position of Earth 616 Peter, that he is not in very good circumstances and facing a lot of troubles. Number 4. There were many things that was completely different than the main universe, like Coca-Cola turns into Coca-Soda, Google turns into Back Rub, Snapchat turns into Peekaboo, and FedEx turns into the RedX. But Sony was still Sony in Ultimate Universe, and that's obvious, because Sony got the full rights of Spider-Man universe, then why would they change their name in any universe of Spider-Man? That makes sense. Number 5. When Miles sneaks into his room and his father comes to check that room, there we can see a symbol hanging on the wall, and this is a reference to the Deadpool. Number 6. When media announced Spider-Man's death, we can see a transformer-like drawing in Miles' room, and this is the exact drawing that Miles was doing in the beginning of this movie, and this drawing is a reference to the robot Leopardon, which is a spider robot that was appeared in the Spider-Man Japanese series. Number 7. When Miles visits Spider-Man's grave, there we can see a newspaper written Spider-Man Dead, and this newspaper published by Daily Bugle News Department. Number 8. Okay, so this detail is quite funny. So when Peter and Miles was being pulled by a train, then Peter got hit by a gravestone, and after getting hit, Peter got fainted and his eyes turned into crosses on his face, which is so funny because this is something that used to happen with cartoon characters back in 90s, and it was not possible to see in the normal speed. So let me slow it down for you. Number 9. When Miles and Peter break into Dr. Olivia's room, then we can see mini tentacle of Dr. Olivia's robotic arm, and keep remember that on this scene Dr. Olivia's identity as Dr. Octopus is yet to reveal, so it was a great hidden hint by Sony for fans. Number 10. While Gwen introduced herself, she said she could not save his friend, and then we saw Gwen fighting a lizard, and death of Peter Parker, and it is because in Gwen's universe lizard was Peter Parker. In Gwen's universe, Peter turned himself into lizard by experimenting on himself, and you can also see the lizard pattern on Peter's body, which are still visible even after his death. Number 11. When Gwen landed in Ultimate Universe, she was wearing her costume, and she wore this costume all the time, even in the school. All she did to hide this, she wore a school dress on her spider costume to conceal it. Number 12. When Miles, Peter and Gwen entered into Spider-Man's basement, there we can see a missing suit among all the Spider-Man suits, and this suit is missing because it was the suit that Peter was wearing when he died, and therefore the suit was never returned to its place. Number 13. Later we see few criminals pictures on the wall, and pay attention to the bottom right picture. This guy in this picture is also a villain of Spider-Man, and his name is The Rose, and he also happens to be Kingpin's son Richard Fisk, and you can also see a newspaper in the middle written Bugle, which clearly means it's Daily Bugle newspaper. Number 14. When Peter and Gwen realized that they are not alone in the basement, then their spidey sense got tingled, but if you see Miles, then Miles' spider sense has a little delay to warn him about their presence, which shows us that Miles need a lot of practice to improve his powers like the other Spider-Man. Number 15. After that, when Aunt May offered Miles, Peter and Gwen 3 stickers to write their names, so pay attention to their stickers. These are the same stickers format that we have seen when both Peter and Miles introduced themselves, and we saw this sticker format during the whole movie many times. Number 16. When Penny Parker was introducing herself, then we can see some details behind her spider robot, and let me break it for you. So in the first line there is a mention suit MK2, which means suit mark 2, and this is her suit mark 2, and this is because just like the other Spider-Man, Penny Parker also made her first suit unprofessional and homemade, and later she made a fully upgraded Mark 2 just like the other Spider-Man. And in the second line there is a written arachno processor, and arachno is an ancient Greek language word which means spider. And in the third line we can see Penny's name, Penny, and she wrote E as 3. Number 17. When all Spider-Men start to glitching because they are from another world, then all the Spider-Man glitch in multiple colors besides Spider-Man Noir because he is from black and white dimension, so he glitch in black and white color. Number 18. When Miles mistakenly leads all the villains to the Peter's house, then there we can see a picture of Peter Parker on left side of Thumbstone, and when Scorpio entered in the house, he said look at this little spider, but he said it in the Spanish, but in the strips we saw this in English, and also in the bottom strip we can see there is clearly mentioned that translated from Spanish, which is a very funny way to describe this. Number 19. When all the Spider-Man were sticking to the ceiling because they were hiding from Nerd, then you can see there is only Penny Parker who is not sticking to the ceiling, beside she is just being squeezed among all the Spider-Man, and it's because Penny doesn't have the spider powers. Number 20. When Nerd saw all the Spider-Man sticking to the ceiling, he fainted, but before he fainted he was reading a Spider-Man comic which was also about the multiverse because there was mentioned that there was more than one Spider-Man. Number 21. When Nerd got fainted, we can see a cereal box above his head, and this is the Spidey OS cereal box that we have seen in the beginning of the movie Peter was talking about. Number 22. At the climax of the movie when Collider was being activated and the whole city was shaking, then Miles' mom was helping other in the hospital she was working, and my reason to tell this is that we have already seen Miles' mom and dad outside of this hospital when they were calling Aaron while Miles was missing, and that shows us the hard work of Sony and the team, that how much carefully they have set everything in this movie to make this movie timeline much accurate, and I really appreciate that. 23. At the climax when Spider-Man Noir fights against Thumbstone, then Noir throws a car at Thumbstone, and that was an old car that comes from the Spider-Man Noir's dimension. 24. When Spider-Man asks Miles to push the green button, so right on that moment a PlayStation controllers appear on the screen with the green button highlighted on it. So by the way, that was a nice way to promote their PlayStation. 25. During the fight between Kingpin and Miles, Kingpin holds Miles in exactly the same way he held the Spider-Man in the beginning of the movie. 26. And after that we saw many versions of Kingpin's wife Vanessa and her son Richard Fisk, and one of their version was African American, and that was a reference to 2003's Daredevil movie where Kingpin was African American. And later we saw another alternate version of Kingpin's family where his son exactly looks like Matt Murdock aka Daredevil, and this is another reference to an alternate dimension where Matt Murdock was not Kingpin's enemy, instead he was a Kingpin's lawyer, and when Kingpin goes to the jail, Matt Murdock carry the mantle of Kingpin. 27. And then we saw a broken bridge, and this is the exact same bridge that appears in Netflix Daredevil intro. 28. When Miles used his shoulder technique on Kingpin, then he said hey, and we can literally see written hey in the background of the Miles in both scenes. 29. Then we saw a food making machine that was from an animated movie Cloudy Chance of Meatballs, where this machine made food rain, and I don't know why Sony put this machine in this movie, and if you know that then let me know in the comment section. Number 30. When Miles took the goober to push the green button, so while going on the top of that, Miles used the same moves that he saw Spider-Man doing before his death. Plus he also used the same swing technique that he learned from our universe Peter Parker at the Alchemax. Number 31. When Spider-Man Noir went to his dimension, then light goes black and white because he and his dimension was black and white in the colors. So here's my all details end with this movie, but wait, video is not ends here. Now I'm gonna show you a few more details from this movie that even I have missed. So let's go. Number 32. When Miles was making Grifty, there we can see that spider that bite Miles, but before bites Miles, the spider climb on a pink spray bottle, and it immediately changes its color in pink according to the environment, which clearly shows us that how Miles got his invisible powers. 33. When Kingpin first appeared in the movie, he was singing a Spider-Man song, and this is a reference to a very old animated series of Spider-Man where this was an intro song of Spider-Man. 34. For sure you guys have seen Stanley cameo in this movie, but there were two more cameos in this movie beside this. So second cameo was when Miles and Peter fell on the road under the bridge from train. We can see few people crossing over there. and that's where Stanley appeared second time, and third time Stanley was appeared when Miles was swinging around the train at the climax. Number 35. When Peter, Miles and Gwen went to Aunt May's house, there we can see a lot of candles, Spider-Man toys and flowers in front of Aunt May's house, and these all are kept by the people who give tribute to the Spider-Man, because after the death of Spider-Man his identity got revealed, and this is why people know who Spider-Man is, and they give tribute to him by placing candles outside of his house. Number 36. So our last detail is about Thumbstone. So when Peter was telling us about his enemies and he was fighting them, then he hit by a bus, and pay attention to the driver. The driver of this bus was Thumbstone. So thanks a lot for watching. So these were 36 new details I found in this movie. I hope you guys have liked this video and you got something new to watch in this video, and if you do, then please give the thumbs up and give me your feedback in comment section. So now, including both parts, I have spotted total 59 new details from this movie. So if you have not watched the first part, then I will suggest you to watch the first part, which will appear in the end of this video. And my next video is gonna be on hidden details in Captain America Civil War. So if you don't want to miss that video, then please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. And also, if you have spotted any details out of this movie, then let me know in the comment section. So with this, my video ends here, and now I will see you in my next video. Till then, stay awesome, stay Marvel and love nature.